Let's go, baby! So I'm here with Colby Covington. Colby Chaos Covington. You know, every time I think of you and I see you on TV and everything else, you know, the whole deal, I think of Brazil, you and me in that octagon, right? Like, hey, bro, they wanted to kill you over there.
They did.
And I said, y'all might not love him here, but they love him in Clovis, California, right? Because I knew you were born there. I know you didn't grow up there, but you were born there. In those moments when it's that crazy and it seems like people want to kill you, like, what are you feeling? Like, in those moments, like, yeah, I got you? Or is it more like, fuck, man, like, this is kind of difficult?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I got you. You know, they like to dish out, you know, all this energy and say these mean things like, you vai morrer, which we know means you will die. So if you want to say these mean things, don't expect to get mean things said back at you. So if you want to be a part of the show and play the game, don't be afraid when you get burned.
So was that the most satisfying moment, or was it New Jersey, Newark, when the Kurt Angle song played? Yeah. And you know what you want, right? Because, like, I watch the wrestling, so I know what you want. Yeah. So the moment I hear the music, dun, 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 I know you want them to yell, you suck. Yeah. But then they start to do exactly what you want. Yeah. Was that more satisfying, or was it the people throwing shit at you in Brazil? Because that was bad. Somebody told me that you, at your hotel, they had security guards on your floor.
They did. They were loaded like Secret Service Brazilian guards who had guns and everything. And they were like, hey, we got to get you out through like this crazy exit in the bottom, and we got to take you to the hotel early, and you got to wear glasses and cover yourself with a hoodie and a hat. Yeah. They're like, you got to go in disguise. We can't have you out. Like, that's why they wouldn't let me do a post-fight press conference after the fight, because there was like a bunch of Brazilians surrounded the arena like with guns and like knives and forks, and they're ready to get me.
Then you're kind of like, oh, okay, like, this is a little crazy.
Yeah.
At that point, you got to be like, shit, man, can I just go home?
For sure. And that's when I remember my whole team was like yelling at me, man, you put all our lives at risk, not just yourself. Like, they're going to want to kill us all now. So they were all pissed at me.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Northwest Regionals, 2008, a young Colby Covington comes up to me as I'm wrestling at heavyweight, trying to qualify for the Olympic trials. When you look back to those days, 13 years now, are you amazed at how far your life has come?
I am amazed. You know, I remember right out of high school in 2006 when I went to Okie State. And
the visit.
Yep, on the visit. And I remember getting recruited by you. And, you know, it was just, it's so surreal to be at this point, you know. But you know who didn't get recruited by you? Marty Fake News. He didn't get recruited by you.
You like to go after him.
Yeah, he can't take down a phone number. I mean, there's a reason John Smith wanted me at Okie State, you know. But
we did recruit you. Yeah. We did recruit you. You ultimately ended up going to Oregon State. Now, when you talk about Usman, right, you talk about Usman with Colby. But is there a part of you that respects him? Be honest. Because I know he respects you. I can tell because he said it the other day on an Embedded. And he said he feels like there's a part of you that respects him. Not only for the fight game, but also from the wrestling background. And for Usman going out to the training center and not being, you know, like if you went to the Olympic Training Center as an All-American, people would be like, hey, you expect something from Colby. From a guy that comes from Division II, that's a difficult step. Is there respect for Kamaru Usman from you, Colby?
I can't say there's respect for him, DC, as much as I want to. You know, there was a lot of cheating and fouls in the first fight, and I just feel like, you know, he's not a clean fighter. You know, and you've had experience that in your career, not fighting clean fighters. You know, why does he have a chemical imbalance at 35 years old and he has acne all over his face, all over his back and shoulders? So, you know, if he was a clean fighter and he didn't cheat and fake fouls in the first fight, yeah, I'd respect him, but I can't respect a cheating coward.
When you talk about the first fight, easily one of the most fun fights I've ever called. And Usman said in that fight, there were times where he was having a good time, where he was having fun. Were you in there having fun? Because at times, people just melt in front of you. But it seemed like on that day, you had found someone that could actually stand in there and kind of go with you at your pace.
Yeah, I was having a blast to see that. You see me the whole fight, you know, even into the fifth round, smiling, you know, looking at the crowd, just like, I can't believe I'm at this moment in my career. I come from a small town in Oregon, you know, where not a lot of kids make it out of that town, let alone get to go on to fight as a professional fighter in world championship fight. So to be in those moments, you know, and just hearing the chants, the fans all chant USA, USA, it was a dream come true. You know, I love those moments where they really test your will and they show the true character of you.
You think that comes from wrestling?
I do think that comes from wrestling. There's just a certain breed that we have, you know, the early morning wake ups that we got to do to run mountains.
Why so early? Why 5 o'clock? Like, what's up with wrestling coaches?
Right?
They're the sickest human beings in the world, right? 5 a.m. go
sickest.
run. Why so early?
I never understood that. Maybe you know. I mean, you wrestled at a higher level than me, so.
Like, I have no idea why they made it so early. But Colby, in that fight, normally I've seen it on multiple occasions. You knew one thing. Colby Covington was going to come in. Ref was going to say fight. Covington's going to go forward and pressure him. Going to use his wrestling and his cardio as a weapon. Were you surprised that Usman was able to carry that pace into the 5th round? And why not wrestle him? Why did you not use what you're so good at in that fight?
No, I wasn't surprised. He got multiple breaks, you know. No one wants to talk about when I kicked him in the liver. That was a clear liver shot, DC, as much as anybody wants to say it. And you know more than anybody in sports how big momentum is.
Oh, yeah.
So for him to stop my momentum in that moment when it was a clear liver shot and him call a nut shot and get a 5-minute timeout, that's not fair, you know. And I'm a pressure pace fighter, so I go on to put pace on guys and break guys. And he didn't allow me to do that, and he got breaks in the fight. So that's kind of what stopped my rhythm, my momentum, and my pace. But what was the second question?
The wrestling. Why
the
no wrestling?
Yeah.
You guys barely took takedown attempts. Why?
Yeah.
It's like this whole thought that 2 wrestlers have to end up having a striking battle, to me seems crazy, because it would seem like the better wrestler, on paper at least, would want to show that he's the better wrestler.
Yeah, I threw my game plan out the window and I got reckless and I went away from what's gotten me to the dance and what's got me to this point in my career, and I'll never do that again. There's always going to be that wrinkle in my game that I'm going to use, and it doesn't matter who I'm fighting. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put that pace on them. I'm going to wrestle with them. I'm going to make them feel those scrambling exchanges, because then when we get back to our feet in the striking, it's going to be a different fight.
When you started doing this, is right here exactly where you figured? Madison Square Garden, UFC 268, fighting for the championship of the world. As clearly, right, like, and I can't, obviously, Usman's the champ, clearly the number 2 guy in the world right now as we head into this championship fight. Was this like the idea, and was there ever a time, like when you lost the submission, I can't remember the guy's name, did you ever kind of like straight from that, the thought that you could ultimately be the best in the world?
You know, I've always believed it since the day I got in the sport, you know, and I was reaffirmed it every day I trained with some of the world-class fighters that I've trained with my whole career. You know, I was trained with UFC champions from day one after I got out of college, and I decided to pursue this career. And I just always believed that I was going to be here. I just manifested, and I just knew it. And, you know, I made a lot of sacrifices. I worked extremely hard to get to this point, blood, sweat, and tears, so there's no mistake why I'm here. And then, you know, when I had that first setback in my career, you know, I went into that fight for different reasons. You know, I was a broke college kid who had a bunch of debt from college. So, you know, I was injured. I had a fractured rib going into that fight, but I was like, you know what, I got to show up and get a paycheck. So It didn't matter. I didn't have parents, you know, who could give me money, and, you know, I was a trust fund baby.
I think that's like what people misunderstand about you, like your background. They don't know Colby Covington because you don't let them know Colby Covington. But when you think about your past and your history, like every time, you know, a lot of times people think about me being from Lafayette, Louisiana. You know how hard it is down there, and certain guys. But they don't look at Colby Covington as a guy that maybe had hard times and everything you earned, the college scholarship, one of the ways for you to go to college. They don't understand the background. So when you talk about the background, what is your background? Like where did Colby Covington get this will to be who he is? What did you see from your parents that allowed for you to be this man today?
Yeah, I just saw the blue-collar work ethic that my parents had as a kid, you know, growing up in Springfield, Oregon. You know, they had to work 2 jobs just to provide food on the table for the family. And, you know, it was never easy, but, you know, I learned that if you put your mind to something and you work extremely hard, you can accomplish anything you want in life. There's no excuses. There's no complaining. There's just plain hard work and sacrifice, and then you can do anything.
Colby, whenever you're, you know, you got your Bang energy drink right there. I see it. You know, I see you out there. You're out there going crazy all the time. You know, like you got your thing going. Do you ever get tired of because I know Colby Covington. You know, I know Colby Covington. So I watch the stuff and I get it. But I know, do you ever get tired and you go like, man, I just kind of like, when you're at home, are you just kind of like, I'm glad to be out of the public?
You know, I'm the cardio king for a reason. You know, I go all day, all night. You know, I don't ever get tired. I just keep going. You know, I'm like the Energizer Bunny.
Reminds me of Chael. Like Chael always puts it on.
Yeah.
Chael's like mispronouncing names, like on purpose. Like Chael's too smart to mispronounce somebody's name.
Yeah.
But it's like sometimes it gets to be a little heavy, and I wonder if at times it gets like that for you guys.
No, because a lot of the stuff I'm doing, there's purpose behind it. You know, I believe in this brand of Bang Energy. You know, I bring in the Bang to NYC. I believe in this, you know, in this company and of the UFC and all the first responders that keep us free in America. You know, law enforcement, fire department. You know, first responders keep us safe. So, you know, I'm fighting for those guys, and they give me extra energy and fuel.
So on Saturday night, Madison Square Garden, world's most famous arena, welterweight title fight rematch of one of the greatest fights that I've ever called. How does this fight end, and what's on the horizon for Chaos? I mean, is it you get it done on Saturday, you and Kamaru Usman run it back, or do you look to something different?
You know, I'd love to run it back with him, you know, again, and really prove to the fans that I'm the better fighter and beat him 2 times in a row. But I think after I'm done with him Saturday night, DC, he's not going to want to come back and fight me. He's going to want to retire and be done and be happy with his body of work. But, you know, the way I get my hand raised is doing what I always do, going forward, putting him on his back foot, just high pressure, high pace. And I think I'm going to have a new, you know, equal ref that's not going to call fake nut shots and call fake shots and give him momentum breaks. So I'm going to put the pace on him. I'm going to break him.
Do you see any improvements since he's gone to Trevor Whitman, opposed to when he was training down in South Florida?
No, I don't see any improvements. You know, he's the same fighter. You know, he's done what he's done his whole career. He's always had a big right hand. He always has a heavy jab. You know, look at the last guys he's fighting, man. He's fighting journeymen. You know, this guy fighting journeyman Street Judas Masvidal. The guy's got 20 losses on his record. He's all hype. And then he's fighting another lightweight. You know, he's fought in 2 lightweights his last 2 fights. Now he's going to fight a true welterweight again, and we're going to find out who's the best on Saturday night.
My man, I'm glad I was able to talk to you. Colby, good luck this weekend, man. Enjoy yourself. And I know that you're going to bring it. It's going to be a good fight, and I can't wait. So you guys blow the roof off.
Thanks, brother.